For the fantastic panel. Okay, over to our probably the last session for this track. I want to post a question out there. How many emotions do you guys think we emote? Do you have a number? Give me a number. One, two. If I ask five emotions? What? Happy, sad, anger, jealous, drama? No? Okay. Some other number. Just five? I'm going to give you guys shocker now. More than that? 50? 10 times, huh? So, very angry, very sad. Come on, just 50. So, some studies say that there are 87 emotions. Guess what? There's another study that says there are 34,000 emotions. And you know what? We are the best people who would know that because sometimes we don't even know what we feel, right? Because we don't know the name of those emotions. All right, so on that note, mindset matters, how emotional intelligence can supercharge your career. So I'm going to call upon the panelists. I have Jolsna Rajiv, engineering manager at Sky High Security. Where are you? I have Preeti Anukamba, director business AI SAP. Neha Sharma, software development manager at Amazon. Sakshi Chaturvedi, senior software engineer at Amazon. And this session is going to be moderated by Anil Thomas, NLP trainer at Gsalt practitioner. Where are you guys? Oh, wow. Big round of applause. They're slowly walking into the stage.
About to break that chain
Don't
of
question
thought
me
that
over the
saying
numbers.
you
That's what
can't do
Google
that.
and Gen AI said.
Tide us down, now we
I don't know.
combat. New gen in your face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? Any time of the day, better make way when we pull up. On a new wave when to come up. We got the high-end product, the conduct, business, professional, body, phenomenal, built in a way unstoppable. Our MO, incomparable. The style, the skill, impeccable. You know that's what we do. We about to turn it up a notch, better not be confused. No, we say you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? Any time of the day, better make way when we pull up. On a new wave when to come up. We got the high-end product, the conduct, business, professional, body, phenomenal, built in a way unstoppable. Our MO, incomparable. The style, the skill, impeccable. You know that's what we do. We about to turn it up a notch, better not be confused. No, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Ooh, get that. We're about to break the chain. I thought that say you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? That about to break that chain that thought that saying you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. That 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? We're about to break that chain that thought that saying you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? Any time of the day, better make way when we pull up. On a new wave when to come up. We got the high-end product, the conduct, business, professional, body, phenomenal, built in a way unstoppable. Our MO, incomparable. The style, the skill, impeccable. You know that's what we do. We about to turn it up a notch. Better not be confused. No, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Ooh, we're about to break the chain. I thought that pushing you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. No gin in your face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? Get that. We're about to break that chain. I thought that pushing you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. No gin in your face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? We're about to break that chain of thought that forcing you can't do that. Tied us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? Any time of the day, better make way when we pull up.
Okay,
On a new.
so we're going to devote the next some time to really understand the importance, the embodiment of the concept of emotional intelligence and how it affects us in ways that is intrapsychic and ways that is interpersonal in spaces of relations and intimacy, be it teams, be it intimate spaces and aspects of our life. And with me, I have Neha, I have Sakshi, I have Preeti, and I have Jyotsna. Let's hear it out for them. Thank you, everybody.
Thought that forcing you can't do that.
Sooner or later, we begin to realize that what differentiates us from most people or what distinguishes us from the others is how effectively we handle our emotions. Because life keeps happening and there are things that are beyond our control. And how do we respond to situations when things are beyond our control? And I think there's a lot to do with emotional intelligence. So let's hear it from our panel. What do they think and understand with this idea of emotional intelligence? So, whoever.
I'll go. I'll
Yeah,
go first. Hi.
Jyotsna.
Yeah, I'm Jyotsna. I have close to 20 years of experience in IT industry. Currently, I'm in cybersecurity. I specialize in cloud security. Uh, Beyond work, I am into social media influencing. I talk about pro aging and aging gracefully. I've embraced my silver hair as a symbol of aging authentically. And I'm also passionate about handloom and saris. So if you all want to know more about it, you can connect with me on all these topics.
Where is your sari today?
I told you I'm an influencer. This is a sponsored.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So that's that's about me. For me, emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness and how I regulate my emotions to achieve my dreams. And dreams need not necessarily be career oriented, it can also mean beyond our work capacity. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's interesting, right? How do I bring myself to the field as much as I can in connection with who I am, what I feel in this moment, and how I am communicating or responding or relating connected to my core, connected to my most authentic self, as the Sari influencer tells us.
Yes.
Thank you, Jyotsna.
Thank you.
Preeti.
So on emotion, okay, by the way, I am Preeti. I'm with SAP Labs. I have close to 24 years of experience. I am a director at their business AI unit, which is about 2 years old, filled with all young crowd and coming with 24 years of experience with all bachas, as we call it, is bridging the generational gap, and emotional intelligence plays a lot in the whole sphere, because what is acceptable to us or taught to us is not what is their definition of success or being cool, or so it takes a lot of understanding of emotions there to play that role. Emotional, in my experience, what I have seen is a set of data points. you know when we feel an emotion, we can feel it in our body. We It's normally generated with a trigger which may or may not be currently related to a particular circumstances or particular episode that is currently happening, but a recollection of a past experience. So there's various, and like we tell it in corporate jargon, don't take it personally. So most of the times we have not to take emotionals personally. Thank you.
Well, not to take it personally. Can we not take something personally? We are living life so much, and we live a lot of our life in memories. And like Preeti said, a lot of what we really experience is from the body, and a lot of that what we experience in the body is coming from the triggers that we have. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Sakshi.
Hi everyone, this is Sakshi and I am working in a capacity of senior software engineer with Amazon and I have an experience of 11 to 12 years within this IT industry. To me, I think I will start with a story and which is very close to my heart. So there was a lawyer, a very successful one with a very high IQ and he was very successful in his own field. But one day, he got diagnosed with a tumor in the prefrontal cortex of his brain. It was non-cancerous, so it was got treated, and he was all well. The doctors like claimed him that he was going to be all well. But soon the life started unraveling itself, and he was not able to do well in his own career. He was not able to take his personal life well. His wife left him and he started living on the couch with his brother. He was very confused, so he and very desperate as well. So he went to a neuroscientist named Anthony Damasio, and then he asked, like, what is happening with me and what is wrong with me? Dr. Damasio started talking to him for quite a while, and then he asked one simple question, like, when should we meet next? And as smart as the lawyer was, he started listing all the pros and cons of each day, like next Wednesday, maybe because this is there, next Friday, I have this appointment, this versus that. But he was not able to make any decision. And that's where Demasio hit the string. Like what happened in his last surgery was the connection from his prefrontal cortex to the amygdala, which is your emotional intelligence part, got severed and this is why he was not able to make any decisions no matter what his IQ was at complete best, but because his EQ was playing a role in making those decisions, he was not able to take any decisions in the life. And that's why this is I got that profound interest into the EQ. It's not just what we dealt with in every day, it's more than that. It plays in every day we just focus on the technical expertise or bringing some skills, but at the same time this EQ is playing a background role in our life to make those decisions in the life and move forward. So on this note,
Yeah.
I just want to give
A lot of what we do, what we decide, and what we act comes completely from an emotional space. Whether it's the car that I buy, or the relation I walk out, or the job that I take, a lot of it comes from the space of emotion, and then our decisions are driven by emotions. I'm going to come back to you and ask you more on that. Yeah. Thank you, Sakshi. Neha.
Thanks, Anil. So I'm Neha. I work as a software development manager with Amazon. I've been in the industry 20 years, working across investment banking, startups, fintech, and now here in e-commerce. Uh, in 20 years, I think it took me a long while to even be exposed to the term emotional intelligence. It's a very recent discovery for me. It's not like something that I knew 10 years back. But what stick to me as I learned about this term is one of a very renowned authors, Daniel Goleman. He says we have two minds, two brains, the one that thinks and the one that feels. So here I am, part of this panel, just to discuss with you all that if you choose to embrace emotional quotient over all the cognitive abilities we have, maybe it will be a game changer in your career.
Yeah, I think that's a good start to understand that. Did you take yourself with you when you're making those decisions? As you're going out in life, did you really take yourself? Did you take your feelings with you? Did you take your senses with you? Did you take your sensations with you? The feeling mind, the somatic mind. Well, that's good sharing on, or a good starting point on what that that emotional intelligence is. Well, if that is something, and if that decides a lot of things, if I could ask, maybe Jyotsna, um, can children be taught emotional intelligence growing up in families? Can schools, universities, churches, and temples, societies, and localities, can we really harness this of growing up?
Definitely.
And
So,
how? Like, and how?
okay. Whenever we are young or in a relationship or in any of situation, right? When you cry or whenever you try to even get teary, the first thing people say is don't get so emotional about it. That is considered a taboo. Getting emotional itself is considered a taboo, which is wrong. You need to feel the emotion and then be done with it. That's when you
Mm,
come out with the proper decisions.
mm, mm,
So, as a child, whenever the child is crying or when they are very tantrum and all, let them feel it,
mm, mm,
be done with it. And then you tell what is your point of view.
mm,
That kind of a thing, a patience and a listening ability, it comes
mm,
from the EQ side of things.
mm. Yeah, I understand that. I'm allowed to feel that, but when do I stop feeling, and where does emotional management comes in? So much to handle, na? So much to handle. It's such a sensitive issue because it's not empirical, it's not tangible.
See,
I can't put a pointer on this. So beautiful, so beautiful.
you're right. But when your house is on fire, you would not let the child feel the emotion. You want
Yeah.
to save it, right? So that's where you know
Mm,
when to. There are all situations where you have to
mm,
let the kid or the child feel,
yeah.
and there are sometimes you need to push them to go forward for their own good.
Mm, mm.
No,
Yeah.
statistically, I would want to add something. There has been a lot of research by Paul Ackman in this space, and one of their finding is any emotion only lasts for 90 seconds.
Mm.
After that, it is afterthought. We keep on building on what we felt, why it happened. Oh my God, I didn't do this, and that is where your self-critic comes in.
Mm, mm,
And then as when we talk about stages of emotional intelligence, the first stage is to be aware of what we are feeling.
mm,
And as he rightly puts it, that if you are aware of your emotion after it has happened, it is kindergarten. If you're aware of the emotion when it is happening with you, you are in high school. It is the trick to be aware before you can actually feel the emotion, like before getting angry. Oh, I am now going to get angry, and that 1 second of awareness can change the response to the emotion.
mm. I'm going to bring that from house to organizations since we have both Sakshi and Neha from Amazon. My question is, how much of this emotional intelligence that we talk about, of sensing emotions, feeling emotions, being aware of emotions, making decisions based on emotions and emotion management, how much of this can we bring into corporations? Um, my actual question is, can we really have an empirical step by step understanding of what and how emotional intelligence is in an organization?
Yes, and this very closely aligns with two leadership principles at Amazon, where I would say they've embodied emotional intelligence by ingraining into their value system. So, one of our very, I would say, popular leadership principles are dive deep and earn trust. Building trust with someone needs empathy and it needs authenticity. While if you want to dive deep or solve a problem with somebody, you really need to be able to connect with them, right? So, with these two leadership principles, I think leaders who are emotionally rich, aware, they're able to navigate through situations, I think conflicting situations easily, and create an environment of innovation where people thrive.
Hmm.
Amazon is known for fast paced decision making, but there's a lot that happens even through their ingrained sense of culture that we focus on. Look at the individual, right?
Yeah.
We are metrics driven, numbers driven, high performing organization, but a lot of it is in the backgrounds where we are made to respect people as they are.
Hmm. And taking that from you, Sakshi, my question is, how do we measure this? And is it a part of the performance reviews in corporations?
It's not like directly, it's not, I would say. But the good thing is that it's coming from a lot of different perspectives. I think Neha touched upon the earned trust principle, and it plays a very important role when you are at least becoming a leader, which is from L4 to L5.
Hmm.
And then when L5 to L6, it's a leadership role within Amazon, and where the interest part is given a phenomenal job in the emotional intelligence part in measuring those success. So while we are promoting that candidate, we also look at the whole perspective throughout the journey. And I was also like, I think Neha covered two leadership principles. I would also like to focus on the hire and develop the best,
Hmm.
where the leaders who have very high IQ, high EQ,
EQ.
and empathy, they basically judge the person who can be promoted, who need to be coached well, and who need to be invested upon that person, even during the hiring as well as during that internal sessions of the
Transitions.
growth, which plays a very phenomenal, important
Hmm.
role in that.
Hmm.
It's like sometimes we say we hire for attitude, not necessarily for all these skills. If they have the right attitude, the
They
right
can learn.
emotional balance, they can learn and they will learn.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, well, all of us starts maybe at 19 and 20 and 25 and grad and post grad. But then life happens and many years goes and decades go and Jyotsna, you are here from where you started. What does aging really mean to this aspect of grace and
Close
presence
topic
and
to you.
Yeah,
how
you
does aging and how do you now connect to self with empathy, the intrapsychic,
so
and
you
how has
you've
it
touched.
changed from the time you began?
Thank you so much. You've touched a point that I am very sensitive about and something that I advocate. I have embraced my silver hair and I advocate going gray and aging authentically on social media. And also, I believe that when we start our careers, there's so much dream, hope, and all that. But once we start aging, we kind of fizzle out on all the areas apart from just our responsibilities. But there are so much dreams and hopes which we are not, considering. And we try to blame it on aging. That, because we are aging, we are not doing this. I'm not hitting gym because I feel pain. No, we should not. Aging should not be a reason for you to stop things. In fact, you should rediscover once you start aging. And that is what you should start doing.
But does aging really have some effect on our the way we process our information? It does, right?
It definitely does.
Mm.
What I was as a teen and what I am now at 40, for me, my vision may be blurred, but I can see through people.
Wow, that's a great
God,
answer.
should we be worried?
But so I mean, that's where you grow emotionally stronger. You're aware. You know what the other person is telling, and you process it much better with aging.
Yeah, I think with age, what she's talking is that she's able to manage self when there are things that happens in the world outside which is beyond our capacity. I can manage me better. And I'm going to take aging a little ahead to Preeti by asking, um, and I have an audience, a panelist of all four women. You got to clap for them. And 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 I think the life cycle of a woman is a lot different from that of a man. The responsibility she has to handle in life, the anxieties that she has, the quality of her body, the processes of the body, relations, it's a lot different in the society that we live in. What does aging mean to emotional intelligence coming from the biology point of view? What anxiety does that bring? Or
Okay.
does it even?
I would like to share a personal experience. So, I have been in the field of customer success, running workshops, and presenting solutions to our customers. And that was the role that I played. But of late, what happened? I was supposed to give this workshop, and I stand in front of my leaders and tried to find words. My hands and legs were getting cold, and I was, feeling thirsty and out of words. That went miserably. But you know what? I went back home and I kept on my self critic again. Was not ready to accept it the way it was. I said, this is what my USP is. And if I can't talk, then I am out of business. So, the, thankfully, I have a sister who is also a doctor, and I happened to share. And I told her that. And that is when, you know what she told me? You are nearing menopause, and menopausal anxiety is something that not many people will tell you about or talk to you about. And this is the first place where you have realized this. Obviously, she, helped me out with some medication, but I'm like, oh, anxiety is
How,
nothing,
how,
but
how
I
has
did.
how has relations changed at
Relation.
work because of the change in the biology?
Um,
Either of you.
Yes, you might have heard when I was saying that I am in a unit which has a lot of young crowd, and I use the term bachas. So the motherliness is overtly available. So that's how I at least feel in my own
Mm,
experience that it
mm,
is changing. It's changing. We have also read a lot about how the biology is affecting us, and it is changing because now I have become intelligent, emotionally intelligent towards my own experiences, towards my own cycles,
mm,
towards my own need, physiological need, more importantly. And when I'm in an argument, I know when to step away.
mm, mm. Yeah, we begin to realize that life is non-renewable, and there comes a time when we take our space.
I have to tell one thing. We are only talking about menopausal of women, but men go through a menopausal
Yeah,
too.
so rarely spoken about, but there is some hard truth and research around those areas, and lot
Exactly.
of things begin to change the way we look at things. And I think at the end of the day, it's not about man and women, even though the biology is different. We're talking about the emotions and the way we process information. So emotional intelligence is nothing but a sum total of a lot of micro skills put together, like empathy, listening, backtracking, feedback, presence, silence. A lot of that put together is what emotional intelligence is. So coming here to Neha and Sakshi and Neha, uh, what I want to know is, where do you draw a line in corporates? Where do you draw that line that, okay, I am empathetic and I would like to feel that, but also there's a pressing time. What's my boundary setting? What's my assertiveness quotient? And can I balance my empathy with assertiveness? Because empathy without assertiveness may be boundary dilution. So how do you handle empathy and assertiveness in a corporate setup where everything is matrix driven?
I think it's a great question, Adele. But at the same time, EQ, as we speak about, I think it's not a scientific like formula around it, so that we can put the boundary here. After this, you it's like too much. Before this, it's like too less. We can't go about this like this. So when I joined this corporation, I was new and I was all like, sir, can I do this? Oh, I got, like, he told me that I am not doing well. I go into that emotional drama, like within myself. So I was too emotional about everything. It was too much for me because I was not able to take any objective decisions. So I have got multiple feedbacks that I have to be little bit objective. And maybe if they are seniors, they are also not right at some times, which is a right a lot in Amazon standards. So I have to bring that objective perspective into my emotionalness. Whereas there are few folks in the industry whom I'm working with, I'm coaching them. They are too objective at the times that they are creating more conflicts, even though they are great in managing, delivering results. So they are doing very well in the IQ perspective, like the lawyer that I was talking about. But when given to that emotional part of it, they are creating more conflicts. So they need more coaching around it. So technical coaching is easy, but emotionally coaching when they are not feeling the empathy
Mm,
from within, it's very difficult.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you manage that, right? How do I manage my emotions, my boundaries, my assertiveness with self, with others, and the space between the others? There's me, there is you, and then there is a space between us.
Yes. And for me, the problem is multifold, the problem or the challenge. Because I work in the capacity of a software development manager. What that means is I have to be first aware of my emotional ability, probably the emotional ability of my house, but my team also is family to me. So I have to have that capacity to absorb all the emotional volatility that they bring along, right? So this takes the problem to a different level. And as all of them are pointing out, it's not a science, it is an art. So the more you practice, and even for me, the more I become aware there's something like emotional intelligence. If you are in a face to face setting with that individual, it is still easier. COVID took us through times where we could not see people and even experience what they might be going through. So, some of it is as you go along this journey of life, you gain that wisdom, and some of it is when you read, you meet like minded people. That is where you learn. I would not say I know where to draw the boundaries, but maybe I'm getting better at it.
I'm going to ask one question to all four of them is, can we at any age learn the skill or the emotion or this understanding of emotional intelligence? Can we just learn it? Is it a transferable skill? And what could or would be an actionable step that I could begin practicing so that eventually, after 6 months or 1 year or whatever, I begin to know that I am getting emotionally intelligent? Yeah, is it a transferable skill? Can I learn something from it? And can I measure that? Can I practice it? Jyotsna.
Uh, Emotional intelligence is something that you acquire over the age by practice. And it's about how it's a mantra you go tell yourself that, you know what, I'm going to try and see what I'm feeling now. Okay? And every situation you feel, journal it. And over the week, if you see what you have felt on different instances, that helps you to understand where you are. Have you improved over the time? So that's something really helped me, and I'm sure it will help everyone.
Yeah. So
Can I
yes,
take
it
it
is a
ahead?
transferable skill,
Yes.
she's saying. I'll just sum that up. I think that's very good and it's a very actionable step. What she's saying is, yes, it is a transferable skill. And the way you do it is begin to feel what you're feeling in a context or in a communication or in a conversation. Begin to feel that, honor that, hold it, house it. Thank you for that. Yeah, Preeti.
And Jyotsna also mentioned about journaling. Journaling is a very important step in emotional awareness. So I just wanted to say that SAP has a curated course on emotional intelligence. It is said, seek within yourself, and the steps are, noting. So once a person is feeling a particular emotion, the first thing is to know that we are feeling the emotion. There is an emotional chart. You have to, somebody was trying to introduce how many emotions that we feel, and the popular
I
answer
liked
is
I liked what she said. Is she around? I liked what she said. She said of all the emotions, and then she said drama. I think that was good.
yes, and and there's a lot of science now. There's a lot of science. There are jobs called emotional scientist. Across the world, there are 280 emotional scientists. Huge number, 280 across the world. That they were asked to journal the kind of emotions, and that is where that 90 came out from. Okay.
So what I'm hearing again is feel the emotion, sense the emotion, hold the emotion, and that's the first point of being present to what you're feeling. Yeah.
Need not be react to emotion.
Need not be react to it, but
Respond.
Feel it, hold it, work on it, but don't react.
yeah, yeah. Do you acknowledge that? That's good. Sakshi.
I think I would like to answer this question in two folds. I got this myself, this kind of a journey in two ways. In my first, the personal life, when I became a mother, and when I saw my daughter, I need to now put the emotions, like transfer those emotions to her. How should I do that? I did one experiment. I cut off her screen time to zero. Very difficult nowadays, but I did that. And then she started observing the world around her. Like she started observing when I'm having the asthmatic attack at home. She started bringing that the vapor with me, the like medicine to me. She started doing those steps by herself when she's not engaged to something like 100% concentration. So yes, I felt that it was transferable because she started observing the world around her, how her father is giving those emotions. The second fold I learned is when I became in a IC role as a senior software engineer, I became that leader within Amazon. And now within Amazon, we say that this is leading without authority, because I'm not a manager. I do not have any authority over those engineers who are working with me, but I still need to get the work done from them. And that's where I thought how to get those work done. And I started realizing those their problems, like at the ground, what the problems that they're facing. I started being transparent to them, because I am kind of working as a bridge between the management, the leadership role, to the engineers. So I started doing those transparent conversations with them. And that's when they started listening to me. They started understanding the value addition that they're bringing to the community or to the society.
So, what I'm listening again and again is that yes, it is a transferable skill. It can be taught, it can be practiced, it can be touched, it can be seen, it can be felt, can be experienced.
Yes, I'll
Neha.
reindex on that. It can be learned, it can be transferred. As I said, for me, it was a late discovery in life. But just once commenting on what everybody has said, they've pretty much covered it all. But if there's one actionable tip that I could leave you guys with, if you've had a very bad day at work, right? For some of us, it is like doomsday. Had the worst day ever in my life. Something that I wanted to accomplish in the first half of the day isn't done till the end of the day, right? So that's your professional or your mind speaking. At the same time, take one step back, comment on where your emotional energy was during the day. Did you meet a friend? Did you have a colleague who sat with you all through the day, encouraging you, Neha, you can get this done? Now, if you overlay your professional achievement for the day and the emotional achievement for the day, maybe you earned the trust of a team member or he has earned yours. So that should define the success of your day that day. So,
Count your blessings.
yes,
See
yes.
count your blessings and see how that made you feel. Um, we have the last 10 minutes, and in these last 10 minutes, I would like to say that, well, we all have emotions, and as children growing up, we've all felt these emotions and we've experienced these emotions, we've shared these emotions. But the reason why sometimes adults do not experience, hold, share, or exchange emotions is because it must be hard for them. Something must have happened in the journey of life after which they must have shut themselves and said, these are emotions I will not experience because something did hurt me, some traumatic responses, some unwanted events. Um, the last 9.5 minutes, I would like each of you to recall a time in your life where something did happen because of which it was a turning point and you decided that awareness is the answer, emotional intelligence is the answer to the journey of my life from here on. You know, was there a turning point in your life where you thought, well, you know, life happens and there are things beyond my control, but what do I have in my control other than my breath, other than my body, other than my emotions? Yeah. So, however we'd like to go. Maybe we'll go from this side this time. Yeah. What was the turning point? Not the content of it,
Uh,
but what changed in the way you saw the world after that, and you said, well, empathy is the answer. These, this is.
okay. Uh, I'll accord a lot of this to a Vice President Diane Gonzalez. A year and a half back, it was one fireside chat in office. This is a very big forum, but that was a fireside chat in an office that I attend it even remotely. She was doing this in Hyderabad, I was in Delhi, and I thought, let me just go to it. When I went there, she laid out her entire career and her emotional journey on a graph. It's like opening it up to the entire organization, so vulnerable. And I was like, is she not scared? She's actually opening it up like some things may be very personal to her, right? And after that, for a lot of time, we were contemplating that is it the right thing to do? I think for me, that was a defining moment. A leader who is able to open themselves up inspired somebody like me to be able to do that. And the very first thing, be aware that this is something I should be aware of.
Yeah, I think there's a human moment. We learn from experience, we learn from somebody's presence, and we make a choice then that I want to be like that. There's too many masks, too many facades I've already worn. That someday I say that, hey, I'm going to put that down. I'm going to face myself, and I'm okay showing you who I am.
Yes.
I would want to go next. So it's, I think. So I was taking care of my ailing father-in-law, so in and out of ICU for years. And that's when I was drained emotionally, financially, physically. My kids, my daughter was in 10th, and my father-in-law in hospital. My husband was abroad. And that's when my brother told me, you're stressed a lot. Why don't you just take a break and go to a dance floor? And I went to a dance floor and I realized, and I was dancing to my happiness, to my glory. That's when I realized I've never spent time on myself like this for a very long time. It may not sound like a turning point, but it was a turning point for me personally because I felt I need to take care of myself too. I need to enjoy my bliss. And that was a turning point for me.
Yeah.
And after that, I started chasing my dreams. I wanted to be a model as a child, but at 40, I entered a ramp. So that is something that I chased after that one incident. And that is a turning point for me.
Yeah. And I think when things are tough and when there's too many things in our plate and when life keep throwing a lot of things onto us, we must step back and say, I'm allowed to take a break. I'm allowed to breathe. I'm allowed to rest. And that's what you did. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Or I am allowed to reprioritize.
I'm allowed.
So that's what happened with me. And as a turning point in career, in knowing what I really wanted, I was doing perfectly well, rising high, up for senior manager 13 years back. And that when I quit, I only made director 2 years back. So that was the impact on my career. But one fine day, I was coming back from office, driving my home. My child was only 1.5 years old that time. And I could see his face on the windshield. And the week was hectic. I had been traveling. I had multiple projects. There had been days when I had not seen him. When I used to leave for office, he was sleeping. When I come back, he was sleeping. And by the way, I'm a very late mother. And it was like mannat se manga hua. So, and suddenly it struck me, what am I doing with this? How long can I work like this? And, trust me, the next day I quit. I just put down my papers and I said, I'll dial down, take a job which is less demanding so that I can focus back on what is more important for me.
I can decide to be available to the less demands outside because my demands within am present to them.
I think I would like to concur with Preeti on the same point. And for me, I was always like every other girl in this room. I had that good girl syndrome from the childhood. You have to have the A grade. You have to become the first in the debate. You have to be an all-rounder. You have to be everything, right? And you have to excel at everything. The turning point for me was again becoming a mother. It was not an easy journey for me because after becoming mother, I did not have any support at home, and I had to take care of the baby, and at the same time, I have to have the responsibility of office. And as usually, before that, I was measuring the success of my life in the typically IQ way. I have to become the role one, the level grade one, then grade two, and then grade three. And it was going perfectly fine. We all have been in the co-ed school and we used to measure the success like every other boy, right? And it was all going fine for me before I became a mother. And I went into that postpartum depression. And then somebody told me that you don't have to cry for every thorn on your way. You have to pluck the thorns on the way and move ahead, right? And this is what an eye opening for me. When I came back, nothing changed at office. No one was impacted. I don't know why I was feeling guilty for the whole time that I'm giving to my baby. The only thing that matters is the baby expressions that Preeti said. Like, it usually get changed when you are not giving it to her, giving it to them. Instead, no one cares. So stop feeling guilty about spending time with the families, not working on the weekends. Stop doing that. Live the moment family with the family at the time when you are there.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. All wonderful people, backed up with years of experience in corporates, and you are here because what you did matter. You are here because there is a history of people and matrix and youngsters who looked up to you and looking up to you, which brought you here all the way in whichever organizations you are and whatever you are. What we're taking back from this discussion is that we are all human beings having set of emotions, and are we available to those emotions? A, B, that's not emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is, am I available to feel them in my body? Am I able to manage them? Am I able to assertively set my boundaries, set back, sit back, breathe, decide to come back, hold the container before it breaks? Should it break, then these could be turning points. Should it break, these could be moments where we make some strong decisions. So before we close, I'm sure you're taking back something. Thank you, Jyotsna. Thank you, Preeti. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you, Neha. And thank you all, you audience, for being here, for being listening to what we curated and what we spoke and what we shared. Thank you very much.
I just want to add with a note that EQ is important more for you than for other part of the diversity, right? So be the change you want to bring in this world. Become your self-aware and make that EQ important as well as the IQ is.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
And Anil, want to thank you on behalf of all of us. Right, you've been been very kind to us, but thank you for having us here.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, panel. You know what was lacking on stage? Just coffee, because it felt like coffee with Anil. Just five friends having chit chat over coffee.
One of the emotion is drama. I'm going to take that with
Yes,
me.
please. Drama is an emotion. Ask anyone who goes through period pains. Right? Right? See. All right. So, as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to give you a memento. Do we have Vivek Nirmal Shah? Vivek, are you here? You're supposed to be here. You were here 5 minutes back. Where are you?
Chain of thought that forcing you can't do that.
Wasn't Vivek
Tigers
with you
down, now we
guys?
combat. New gen in your face, we about that. Me plus
All right. So, why don't I do the honors, if you don't mind a little drama?
Ten toes,
Can I?
can you feel
Go
that?
ahead.
Feel that?
Bring the
Feel
thing.
that? Any time of the day.
No, no.
Better make way when we pull up.
Memento. Memento.
Put a new wave when it come up. We got the high-end product. Get the conduct. Business, professional. Body, phenomenal. Built in a way unstoppable. Our MO, incomparable. The style, the skill, impeccable. You know that's what we do. We about to turn it up a notch. Better not be confused. No, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Ooh, get that. We're about to break the chain of thought that forcing you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in the face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. Get that. 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? That we're about to break that chain that thought that forcing you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in your face, we about that. Me plus we see the future, gonna get that. That 10 toes in, can you feel that? Feel that? Feel that? We're about to break that chain of thought that forcing you can't do that. Tide us down, now we combat. New gen in your face, we about